Today, let's talk about the most brutal slave owner to ever live. This story gets very gruesome, what I'm about to tell you. Be aware, but let's get into it. The story of Madame La Laurie. Madame La Laurie is known as the torture queen of New Orleans. She did very demonic acts to her slaves, to the point where she holds the nickname the torture queen of New Orleans. She is one of the most infamous serial killers in the world. In 1831, her and her husband lived in a mansion in New Orleans, with an attached slave quarters. Her public treatment of her slaves were decent, but behind closed doors they were truly demonic. There's one gruesome story where a 12-year-old girl was combing her hair. While combing, she accidentally pulled one of her hairs. So La Laurie chased her around with the whip. The young lady jumped off the rooftop mansion rather than await the torturing that was waiting for her. That's how afraid she was of La Laurie. She was also famous for collecting horrendous torture devices. She even beat her daughters for trying to feed starving slaves. Now let's get into horrendous crimes. She would stuff animal feces in her own slave's mouth and then sew them shut. She would also wrap her slaves' intestines around their own body. She once had the arms of a woman amputated and her skin peeled off in a circular fashion to resemble a caterpillar. The limbs of another slave were broken at odd angles so that they could resemble a human crab. She also had a 70-year-old female slave chained to a stove. She was even known for gauging her slaves' eyes out, poked holes in their skulls, leaving maggots to infest the openings. Remember I just said the lady slave that was chained to a stove? She set fire because she did not want to go to the upper room in that mansion. Because the upper room in that mansion is where La Laurie would torture slaves. Police would soon discover these things, but La Laurie would then flee to Paris, where she died in 1849. And this is the house where she used to torture them. I'm just truly lost for words. But that is it for this story. I'm out. Deuce.
Shalom, Israel. Before I begin, I want to start off. Like, yeah, my throat is feeling a bit weird, but before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. I have the mic close to my mouth so that you can hear me. Lord willing, it's not too loud. But today's lesson is going to be on Esau Edom. Okay, who is Esau Edom? Right? And before I begin, I wanna ask you a question. When you go back in history, who who um who ruled the world? Really think about it. Okay, who who were the Romans? Right? Who were the Spartans? Spartans were gay. Fun fact. you know, they depict them as these type of warriors, but these so-called warriors were faggots. Okay, they were gay. Um, you know, they they thought that having sex with another man declared them as more masculine, which is stupid. They made their wives shaved bald, so that they can look more like men. Alright, that's very flawed in every way. You know, here you have a beautiful woman and you want her to be bald and like a fucking man. Alright, that's. But Salakia, this lesson isn't about Spartans. This is about Esau Edom. Who is Esau Edom? And to give you the answer bluntly, Esau Edom is a so-called white man. Alright, he is a so-called white man, and we can prove it. Alright, so what I want you to do is Just search up white man or white dude, white person, and I want you to look at them. Really look at them. Alright? They are, in fact, not white. They are red. And when you really look at a white person, they're red. Okay? This is Genesis 25:25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she buried them. Alright, but I really want you to pay attention to the red, to Genesis 25:25. He came out like a red garment. Alright, when you look at a white man, they get red easily. That's if they're not, but their true color is really red. Right? Nobody's white. You search up white, just the color white. They look nothing like anybody. Nobody's white. Okay. You can be you can be brown. You can be brown. You can be really brown. You can be darker brown, but you can't be fucking black. You can't be white. Alright. And another thing, okay, when you look back in history, Esau, Edom controls everything. Alright. They control the building. Who is the president? Now, when really the president aren't even the higher up, the elites. Okay. Every single member of the elites knows the truth, and they know that they're Esau, Edom. Okay. And Esau, Edom, um, they were said to rule the earth. Right? They were said to have the fatness of the earth. Genesis 25:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heaven from above. Alright, and Esau, Edom. Alright, correct me if I'm wrong, but what do white people love? What do they fight for? For their guns, right? Genesis 27:40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Alright. I want to do this lesson real quick. I do not have much time, but I want to do this lesson real quick just to get it out. Alright. Just to get it out. And, everybody needs a reminder. Maybe you're a newer brother, but Esau, Edom is the so-called white man, and they are the devil. Shalom.